Hey guys, welcome to Bada Boom. It's Chris. I've brought back Mike to talk about the Aquaman 2 trailer. It's one of the few DC movies Mike has actually seen, so it's actually one we could talk about. So, what did you think about the trailer, Mike?
Well, I thought one of the more interesting things about it was actually the kind of behind the scenes stuff. So, like at around 10 seconds in, you can see the back of Mira's head. She's got like that bright red wig on. So even in like
Yeah.
this comically wide shot, you can see her and you know she's there. And given the behind the scenes stuff, I'm pretty sure that's just a stand-in. Like you don't actually see her face. So in a shot like that, it wouldn't have been Amber Heard anyway. And then the only other time you see her is for a split second at 2 minutes and 24 seconds into the trailer. It's like a shot of her breaking the window. So I thought that was very interesting, given all the behind the scenes stuff that you don't see her anywhere in the trailer. And I'm assuming she's not going to be well, I mean, the director himself has said that she's not going to be a big part of the film. So I thought it was funny given the fact that, Aquaman's child is in the film, but then his mom isn't going to be in the movie basically at all. So it kind of contradicts the whole narrative that James Wan has been talking about, where he says I mean, this is the quote I have in front of me. I always pitch this to everyone from the get-go. The first Aquaman was Arthur and Mira's journey. The second movie was always going to be Arthur and Orm. So the first was a romance action adventure movie. The second one is a bromance action adventure movie. And to that I say, that sounds like a little bit of copium to me because it's like Aquaman has a son with her, so it's like she's pretty important. So why would you just
Well,
move her? Why would you just like
if
completely eject her from the film?
I would say if you watch the trailer with another interesting part is they tee up pretty, I mean, foreshadow the fact that actually Black Manta might kill his whole family. So maybe they did there it's a story of convenience where it's like, oh, I think we could kill everyone off and then say this is a movie like that.
Absolutely, that's definitely a possibility given how little she is in the trailer and how all the stuff. It might even be like a time travel scenario because for most of the trailer, it really is just Arthur and Orm. So I'm thinking there might even be like some kind of time travel thing where Black Manta actually does manage to kill his family, and Arthur and Orm have to go on some kind of like adventure to recover some kind of artifact that takes them back in time and allows them to, stop Black Manta from carrying out his plan. So it's certainly a possibility that Mira gets killed off like early on in the movie, and then she kind of like comes back kind of at the end after they accomplish their mission or something like that. But either way, regardless of what happens, she's not going to be in the movie at all, and it's pretty obvious from the trailer.
Yeah, even though she has a reduced role, it's clear they've upped the ante when it comes to Black Manta. And me as a Black Manta fan, I'm super excited. I loved the cheese of the first movie. Some of the line deliveries that Yaya had as Manta was amazing. I feel like I got what James Wan was trying to go with this Flash Gordon type of really cheesy action movie, and I really loved it. So to see him back as hater of the year and just like I have no goals in life except ruining the Aquaman. I'm all for it.
Well, the first thing I thought when I saw Black Manta was, didn't he die in the first one? Like, he's so forgettable to me anyway that I don't even remember actually what happened to him. I thought Arthur killed him, but
Oh,
apparently he
basically,
didn't.
he got his shit fucked up. But at the end
Yeah.
of the movie, there's an end credit scene where you see he's recovered by that scientist in the movie played by Randall Park. Um, and that's when you kind of like see that setup. But it is interesting. The
Okay.
first movie, he definitely gets his ass kicked every single time he runs into the Aquaman, which is funny because it's like, oh, like I'm this big bad villain, and then he almost dies comically, like his jet malfunctions. It's almost like the way Boba Fett goes out in in the Return of the Jedi. You're like, wait, is this Aquaman's greatest villain that just kind of got defeated by his own technology? That's weird. But yeah, I'm excited for that aspect of it. And also, what's really good about the first Aquaman movie And what's really good about this trailer, in my opinion, is the fact that there is literally no connection to any of the DC movies. Um, which is funny because he's been involved in a couple being in credit scene of the Flash, the Justice League movie, yet his movies almost stand on their own in a way. And I think it's the only DCEU movie to make $1 billion. And I think it's because of that fact it's able to literally wash itself of the dirt that some of those movies have left on the brand. So I'm interested to see how this one performs because I feel like Aquaman is the Captain Marvel of DC, where no one expected it to hit $1 billion, and now everyone's looking at the sequel like, will it do it again?
Well, that all depends on how much interference there was in this one, because from my understanding, there's been a lot of like behind the scenes trouble, quote unquote, allegedly. But even James Wan himself talked about the fact that James Gunn, quote unquote, weighed in on
Mm,
the Aquaman sequel because he's in charge of DC Studios
yeah.
now. And Juan said, this is a direct quote from him. He said, I've known James since way back, right? We're horror guys. And so I'm definitely open to ideas. But at the end of the day, this is my movie. Well, as soon as I read that quote, I thought, oh yeah, this thing got reshot to all hell because when according to also what I've read, because it's funny that you mentioned that these movies work, or the first one worked because it has no connection to like the wider DC universe. This one apparently will have a connection because of what happened with the Flash. And James Wan even talked about that it was kind of weird because the Flash got moved back so much, and I think also the this movie did as well. So apparently there are going to be references to Ben Affleck's Batman and Michael Keaton's, and apparently they even have cameos in the movie itself. So it'll be interesting how that changes the perception of the film, because the first one, like you said, people liked it because it didn't have any connections to the wider universe. And this one, interestingly enough, will have those connections, but the DCEU is effectively dead after this film. So it's like, why are they even putting those connections in there? I don't know. Maybe it's some part of a wider plan by Gunn. But I do think it's interesting that they didn't include any of those references in the trailer. So I think the impression they're trying to give off is the one that you mentioned that the first movie had, where there is no wider connection, and you're just kind of going into this movie not having to know about anything else, and those connections that will be in the film will just be for the fans that actually went, the 10 or 15 fans that actually went and then saw the Flash, given its box office returns.
Yeah. No, those are good points, but the fact is, I think even when they were reshooting those scenes with Ben Affleck and replacing Michael Keaton, I think Gunn hadn't even been in place. So I don't know if you saw The Flash, but you can tell that movie even was affected by the change in regime in terms of the way the ending played out. That movie also had several endings. And to give James Wan some credit, the first Aquaman film, up until it was released, had a lot of reports of reshoots, how it's not working, and this and that, and then it still made $1 billion. So if history tells us anything, do not count out James Wan because he gave the world Malignant.
That's true. That's true. He is able to pull off some amazing goofy things. And speaking of goofy, do you think the baby will pee or poo on Aquaman? Because the way that shot was framed when he walks up to the baby, the shot reverses onto him, and he is standing directly in front of a window. So my prediction is the baby is either going to like super pee or do something onto Aquaman, and he's going to go flying out that window that's right behind him. And something like that has to happen because the shot is framed so perfectly. It's framed like a comedy shot, like a typical, because he's like taking off his diaper or something. He's like laughing at him. So 100% something like that is going to happen. I'm putting money on it. I'm willing to bet $100 that something goofy like that will happen, and it's completely unnecessary. And I think that's exactly why James Wan will make it happen, because it absolutely doesn't have to happen. And that's why it will happen.
Well, I won't take you up on that because I believe that's going to happen too. It's almost as if you're a writer. But thank you, Mike. I appreciate you hopping on, especially considering that you do not care for these movies at all and you still come on and give some really good insight. So I appreciate you. So, with that, guys, bada boom.
Bada boom.